Greetings, Ranger fans. Jake here for a deeper look at episode 26 of Power Rangers Dino Fury, Tiny Trouble. But first, a rapid run-through. Let's kick off the counter. It's morphin' time. Okay, so we open in the forest where Oculo is hunting down
the last Sporix
and spots the Rangers training at Dino Henge.
Pop the balloon and you win.
Except for Ion, who's trying out Earth Snacks, while Ollie scores the final sword strike on his teammates, who then spot
the cutest little Zord ever!
The Pocket Smash Sword apparently shrunk, so Ion tries to use the Grow Dino Key to restore her to normal, but she's a lot jumpier than he remembers, and they end up with a giant whipped cream and Donuts instead before catching her and bringing her down for so long to scan.
No sign of her battle armor key yet.
She gets loose and causes another mess, so Ion offers to take her topside with a leech, while in Area 62, Oculo turns the last Sporix over to Void Knight, but he's still short of the power he needs for his machine, so the monster tells him about the tiny sword and offers to go capture it with Wreckmate to pull a Sporix trade with the Rangers.
Otherwise, he'll be the next one up for the power processing jukebox.
At Dino Henge, Ion lets Pac off the leash to play fetch,
because she trusts him so much.
but loses her when the others call to reveal the Zord's Dino Keys inside her, chasing after her and tracking her down just as she gets snagged by Wreckmate and Oculo, calling the others to join him in morphing to take her back, but then Lil Pocket escapes into the woods again and Ion and Ollie try to chase her down while the others keep the baddies busy.
She's going to Dino Henge, trust me.
But then they find her tracks and
She's not going to Dino Henge.
someone calls to reveal that Lil Paca isn't the Paca Smash Sword, but a brand new baby Paca, which seriously shakes up Ion, so Ollie takes charge using the Sonic Dino Key to track her to the cliff and the Vision Dino Key to see that inside.
It's Mama Paca.
So Ollie tries lifting a boulder to break her loose,
Which obviously doesn't work.
so Ion has him throw a rock instead, uses the Grow Dino Key to turn into a boulder to break her loose and receive the Smash Dino Key, which Ion grants to Ollie to apologize for not listening, right before they head off to join the others in the fight against Wreckmate and Oculo, with Ion summoning the most Razor Zord once Oculo goes giant, and Ollie activating the Smash Battle Armor to take out Wreckmate.
Wreck'em sock'em that robot.
Wreckmate retreats, so Ollie and the others summon the Pocket Smash Sword and Baby Pocket to help out against Oculo, combining with the Dino Fury Megazord to form the Dino Fury Megazord Smash formation, delivering a flurry of punches with a final baby-powered Pocket Mega Punch,
Which definitely doesn't feel like proper child safety.
to finish off Oculo and revert him back to his Sporix, dropping right into the waiting hand of Void Knight.
But how much difference could one more Sporix make?
The Rangers celebrate their victory back at the base, and Ion apologizes for acting like he knew better just because he'd been around longer, while at Area 62, Void Knight pops the final Sporix into the machine, powering it up and pulling the lever to finally get it running, flooding energy straight into the tank in a secret room until Santora finally opens her eyes. Roll credits. And that's the end of the episode. Now, let's take a deeper look. At long last, we're finally here. The hunt for the Sporix that began all the way back in episode 1 is finally over, with Void Knight finally completing his goal of awakening Santora. And it genuinely feels like a game changer, made all the more impactful by just how innocuous it seems to the Rangers themselves. This whole time, our heroes have been almost totally ignorant of the goals of our main villain, as the audience has been increasingly aware of not only his motivations, but also just how close he's been getting to actually succeeding, especially in light of Oculo's contributions in the previous episode. Which kind of makes Oculo into a bit of a tragic character this episode, as his success in collecting all of his fellow Sporix actually cemented his awareness of his own inevitable fate. Feeling bad for a Sporix beast. Who'd have thought? Plus, the fact that he found the last of the Sporix out in the woods without any hotline alert to inform the Rangers means that even if they were keeping count of exactly how many Sporix had been collected, they still wouldn't know that the final one had actually been found. So whatever comes next will now be an extra big surprise. Which only serves to highlight the fact that we, as an audience, have no clue what comes next. The Monster of the Day mechanic has now been removed. A major mystery character has now been awakened, and although we might be able to glean a few guesses based off of the Season 2 trailer and the general tropes of the franchise, Dino Fury has been innovative enough thus far that we can't really be certain of anything right now.
And that's honestly a great feeling.
And I'm saying this as someone who has already seen all of Re-Soldier. Now, as I've said before, this massive development is somewhat obscured by the rather innocuous nature of the plot, with the knowledge that we were nearing the end of the Sporix hunt hovering just on the outskirts of a main story that is suitably engaging in its own right. New seasons always come with new Zord introductions, and the Pocket Smash Zord is definitely a fun one, continuing the fine line of boxing-style Zords first established with the Red Battle Zord back in Power Rangers Zeo, and later continued with the original Pachycephalosaurus-themed Cephalozord of Power Rangers Dino Thunder. But obviously the absolute star of this episode is Baby Paca. She's just so cute! And the execution of both the CG animation and puppetry is extremely well handled, giving her appropriately furtive and jumpy movements that are extremely appropriate for a small, scared, but curious animal that is suddenly being treated like a pet. It also helps that the scenes in which she is featured are very nicely constructed to limit the need for any green screen or special lighting, meaning that she frequently feels well integrated into the scene, keeping her nicely centered in the foreground for any of the more action-oriented chase scenes.
Or Matrix-style donut dodges.
I'm sorry, donuts.
And that brings us to Ion's character focus, which feels to a certain extent like it's retreading well-trod ground, but actually appears to finally be delivering a lesson that will stick in this case, as his emotional connection to Paka makes this one hit just a little bit harder than the lessons in the past.
Ion has arguably been something of a contentious character up to this point, often displaying a certain level of opportunism and disrespect when it comes to his teammates, as we saw during his attempt to usurp leadership in ancient history, his showboating in Our Hero, his irresponsible use of Zato's Dino Chucks in the festival, and his willingness to throw shade on Solon during missing pieces.
Not to mention that his first ever unmorphed action after hugging Solon was literally to just steal Ollie's peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
For whatever reason, good judgment just goes straight out the window whenever it comes to food with this guy.
And we of course see that again here with his secret Operation Earth Snacks, which both reinforces his fascination with Earth sweets that was established through his ice cream fixation in Our Hero and Secret Santa, and nicely sets the scene for the wacky shenanigans with the Grow Dino Key later on.
The fact that he lays out all these cakes and sweets on a picnic blanket in full view of his fellow Rangers as they train, blithely refusing to acknowledge any need to participate in their exercises, is just another example of that casual disrespect, not even seeing anything wrong with borrowing money from a friend purely for his own personal indulgence.
Speaking of which, that has me asking again, why is it that everyone is always borrowing money from Ollie?
Just how much is his mom making right now at the Ishinomori Institute?
Anyway, the thing that makes this example a little different from the others is that we finally receive some motivation for this behavior, even if it is a bit of a weak justification on his part. And it's not just a case of extraterrestrials not knowing any better.
Ion is a seasoned ranger who feels like he's already so much more experienced than his rookie teammates that he can just sit back and enjoy the luxury of having that privileged position on the team, leaving the more nitty-gritty management and training aspects to Zato as the mutually agreed upon leader.
And his feelings of expertise that come with that experience are understandable.
It's not just that he refuses to learn how to work better with his teammates, but that he actually feels like learning is no longer necessary for him at this point in his ranger career. This is why the experience with Baby Paka hit so hard for him. Unlike in ancient history, where he was trying something new by becoming leader and discovering the pitfalls of that unfamiliar position, here he believes he is operating from a place of familiarity. So the realization that his assumptions were wrong is genuinely unsettling for him. This is one reason why it makes so much sense to pair him up with Ollie here, as despite their differences in general demeanor, Ollie has also had a lot of episodes where his arrogance has created problems for the team, a lesson that he had also been very slow to learn.
And, let's be honest, is still learning.
But just compare his reaction to Ion here to his reaction to Izzy's failures during the first half of Crossed Wires. Once it's revealed that Ion's arrogance was completely unfounded, he doesn't lash out or gloat, but instead recognizes how upset his teammate is, displays empathy, and picks up the slack to get them both back on task, earning Ion's respect and admiration. As a result, it feels like this episode might not only be a big turning point in the story, but also a turning point for the character of Ion, who has a major mea culpa in the base after the battle, realizing that some of his supposed rookie teammates might actually be starting to surpass him, and deserve to be listened to, respected, and treated as equals.
And not just brushed off with a, "Trust me, it'll be fine."
Especially since, after 65 million years, you can't really trust things to stay the same.
This is the kind of character development that you really like to see, where the hero not only learns a lesson, but where that lesson adds extra context to previous behaviors to generate a better sense of understanding and growth, which I will admit might be me looking a bit too much into things, but we'll have to see.
And that's not to say that there aren't still a few clumsy elements to this episode. Ion's repeated,
Trust me's heavily telegraphed the eventual reveal, and it does somewhat strain credulity that he is unable to recognize that Pakka's apparent change in size has also led to a completely different set of behaviors. Not to mention, why does Ollie think he can just lift up and throw a boulder? Dude, popping some balloons with a sword does not make you Hercules. Beyond that, we still have the ongoing issue that the Dino Keys have a seemingly unlimited set of abilities and applications for whatever the situation may call for. But that's not really the fault of this show, as it was already a major recurring element in the Reassaulter source footage. Otherwise, I struggle to find many issues with this one. The character growth was well developed, the tone was fun, the humor was on point, the action was dynamic, the effects were well executed, the new toys were endearing and well incorporated, we got a massive well-earned shift in the status quo, and even the monster of the day had a strong motivation for their actions. Honestly, if this is what we have to look forward to for the rest of Season 2, I can't wait to see what happens next. Hopefully more adorable Zord cuddles. So make sure to join me next time for a deeper look at episode 27 of Power Rangers Dino Fury, Stitched Up. And if you would like to share this week's rapid run-through, you can find it as a standalone clip over at Morphin Legacy's YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe to us both, ring the bell for future notifications, and, until next time, farewell Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.